We are now in Higgins's laboratory on Wimpole Street at 11 a.m. the next day. Pickering is seated at a table and puts down a tuning fork. Higgins is closing his file drawers. Let's see what Higgins and Pickering discuss after their adventure at Covent Gardens.
Well, I think that's the whole show.
Yes, it's really amazing. I haven't taken half of it in, you know.
Would you like to go over any of it again?
No, thank you, not now. I'm quite done up for this morning.
Tired of listening to sounds?
Yes, it's a fearful strain. I rather fancied myself because I can pronounce 24 distinct vowel sounds, but your 130 beat me. I can't hear a bit of difference between most of them.
Oh, it comes with practice. You hear no difference at first, but you keep on listening, and presently you find they're all as different as A from B. What's the matter?
A young woman wants to see you, sir.
A young woman? What does she want?
Well, sir, she says you'll be glad to see her when you know what she's come about. She's quite a common girl, sir. Very common indeed. I should have sent her away, except I thought perhaps you wanted her to talk into one of your machines. I hope I've not done wrong, but really, you see such queer people sometimes. You'll excuse me, I'm sure, sir.
Oh, it's quite all right, Mrs. Pierce. Oh, has she an interesting accent?
Oh, something dreadful, sir. Really, I don't know how you can take an interest in it.
Well, let's have her up. Show her up, Mrs. Pierce.
Very well. It's as for you to say.
This is rather a bit of luck. I'll show you how I make records. We'll set her talking, and I'll take it down first in Bell's visible speech and in broad Romanic. And then we'll get her on the phonograph so you can turn her on as often as you like with the written transcript before you.
This is the young woman, sir.
Why, this is the woman I jotted down last night. She's of no use. I've got all the records I want at Listen Glove Lingo. I'm not going to waste another cylinder on it. Be off with you. I don't want you.
Don't you be so sussy. You ain't even heard what I come for yet. Did you tell him I come in a taxi?
Nonsense, girl. What do you think a gentleman like Mr. Higgins cares what you came in?
Ah, we are proud. You ain't above giving lessons, not him. I heard him say so. Well, I ain't come here to ask for any compliment. And if my money's not good enough, I can go elsewhere.
Good enough for what?
Good enough for you now. Now you know, don't you? I'm come to have lessons, I am, and to pay from too, make no mistake about that.
Well, what do you expect me to say to you?
Well, if you was a gentleman, you might ask me to sit down, I think. Don't I tell you I'm bringing you business?
Pickering, shall we ask this baggage to sit down, or shall we throw her out of the window?
Ah, I won't be called a baggage, and I've offered to pay like any lady.
What is it you want, my girl?
I want to be a lady in a flower shop instead of selling flowers at the corner of Tottenham Court Road. But they won't take me unless I can talk more genteel, like. He said he could teach me, he did. Well, here I am, ready to pay him, not asking any favour, and he treats me as if I was dirt.
How can you be such a foolish, ignorant girl as to think you can afford to pay Mr. Higgins?
Oh, why shouldn't I? I know what lessons cost as well as you do, and I'm ready to pay.
How much?
Now you're talking. I thought you'd come off it when you saw a chance of getting back a bit where you chucked at me last night. You had a drop in, hadn't you?
Sit down.
Oh, if you're going to make a compliment of it.
Sit down!
Sit down, girl. Do as you're told.
Ow!
Won't you sit down?
Well,
What's your
so
name?
what if I do? My name is Eliza Doolittle.
Eliza, Elizabeth, Betsy, and Bess. They went to the woods to get a bird's nest.
They found a nest with 4 eggs in it.
They took one apiece and left 3 in it.
Don't be silly now.
You mustn't speak to the gentleman like that.
Well, why won't he speak sensible to me?
Oh, come back to business. How much do you propose to pay me for the lessons?
Oh, I know what's right. A lady friend of mine gets French lessons for 18p an hour from a real French gentleman, eh? Well, you wouldn't have the face to ask me the same for teaching me my own bloody language. As you would for French. So I won't give more than a shilling, take it or leave it.
You know, Pickering, if you consider a shilling not a simple shilling, but as a percentage of this girl's income, it works out as fully equivalent to 60 or 70 guineas from a millionaire.
Oh, so?
Well, figure it out. A millionaire has about £150 a day. She earns about half a crown.
No, I told you I only earned half a
She
crown.
offers 2/5 of her day's income for a lesson. 2/5 of a millionaire's income for a day would be somewhere about £60. It's handsome. By George, it's enormous. It's the best offer I've ever had.
Oh, £60? What are you talking about? I never offered you £60. Oh, where on earth would I get
Hold your tongue!
But I ain't got £60.
Don't you cry, you silly girl. Sit down. Nobody's going to touch your money.
Somebody is going to touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop sniveling. Sit down!
One would think you was my father.
If I decide to teach you, I'll be worse than two fathers. Here.
What's this for?
To wipe your eyes. To wipe any part of your face that feels moist. Remember, that's your handkerchief, and that's your sleeve. Don't mistake the one for the other if you wish to become a lady in a shop.
It's no use talking to her like that, Mr. Higgins. She doesn't understand you. Besides, you're quite wrong. She doesn't do it that way at all.
Here, you give me that handkerchief. You give it to me, not to you.
He did. I think it must be regarded as her property, Mrs. Pierce.
Serves you right, Mr. Higgins.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about the ambassador's garden party? I'll say you're the greatest teacher alive if you make that good. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment you can't do it. And I'll pay for the lessons.
Oh, you are real good. Thank you, Captain.
It's almost irresistible. She's so deliciously low, so horribly dirty.
Ah, dirty. I washed my face and hands before I come. I did look.
You're certainly not going to turn her head with flattery, Higgins.
Oh, don't say that, sir. There's more than one way of turning a girl's head, and nobody can do it better than Mr. Higgins, though he might not always mean it. I do hope, sir, you won't encourage him to do anything foolish.
Oh, what is life but a series of inspired follies? The difficulty is to find them to do. Never lose a chance. It doesn't come every day. I shall make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter snipe.
Ah.
Yes, in 6 months, in 3, if she has a good ear and a quick tongue. I'll take her everywhere. I'll pass her off as anything. We'll start today, now, this moment. Take her away and clean her, Mrs. Pierce. Monkey brand if it won't come off any other way. Is there a good fire in the kitchen?
Well, yes, but I can't...
Take all the clothes off and burn them. Ring up Whiteley or somebody for new ones, wrap her in brown paper till they come.
Oh, you know, gentlemen, you know not to talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am, and I know the likes of you are, I do.
We want none of your Listen Grove prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to behave like a duchess. Take her away, Mrs. Pierce. If she gives you any trouble, wallop her.
No! I'll call the police, I will!
But I've no place to put her.
Put her in the dustbin.
Ah.
Oh, come, Higgins, be reasonable.
You must be reasonable, Mr. Higgins. Really, you must. You can't walk all over everybody like this.
I walk over everybody. My dear Mrs. Pierce, my dear Pickering, I have had never the slightest intention of walking over anyone. All I propose is that we should be kind to this poor girl. We must help her to prepare and fit herself for her new station in life. If I did not express myself clearly, it was because I did not wish to hurt her delicacy or yours.
Well, did you ever hear anything like that, sir?
Never, Mrs. Pierce, never.
What's the matter?
Well, the matter is, sir, that you can't take a girl up like that as if you were picking up a pebble on a beach.
Why not?
Why not? But you don't know anything about her. What about her parents? She could be married.
God!
There. As the girl very properly says, gone. Married indeed. Don't you know that a woman of that class looks a worn-out drudge of 50 a year after she's married?
Well, who'd marry me?
By George, Eliza, the streets will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for your sake before I'm done with you.
Nonsense, sir. You mustn't talk to her like that.
I'm going away. He's off his chump ears. I don't want no barmaids teaching me.
Oh, indeed. I'm mad, am I? Very well, Mrs. Pierce. You needn't order the new clothes for her. Throw her out.
Nah, you ain't got no right to touch me.
You see now what comes of being saucy. This way, please.
I didn't want no clothes. I wouldn't have taken them. I can buy my own clothes.
You're an ungrateful, wicked girl. This is my return for offering to take you out of the gutter and dress you beautifully and make a lady of you.
Stop. Mr. Higgins, I won't allow it. It's you that are wicked. Now, go home to your parents, girl, and tell them to take better care of you.
I ain't got no parents. They told me I was big enough to earn my own living and they turned me out.
Where's your mother?
I ain't got no mother. That turned me out was my sick stepmother. But I done without them, and I'm a good girl, I am.
Very well, then. What on earth is all the fuss about? The girl doesn't belong to anybody. Is no use to anybody but me. You can adopt her, Mrs. Pierce. I'm sure a daughter would be of great amusement to you. Now, don't make any more fuss. Take her downstairs and...
But what's to become of her? Is she to be paid anything? Do be sensible, sir.
I'll pay her whatever is necessary. Put it in the housekeeping book. What on earth will she want with money? She'll have her food, she'll have her clothes. She'll only drink if you give her money.
Oh, you are a brute. It's a lie. Nobody ever saw the sign of liquor on me.
Does it occur to you, Higgins, that the girl has some feelings?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Not any feelings that we need bother about. Have you, Eliza?
I got my feelings same as anybody else.
You see the difficulty?
Eh? What difficulty?
To get her to talk grammar. The mere pronunciation is easy enough.
I don't want to talk grammar. I want to be a lady.
Will you please keep to the point, Mr. Higgins? I want to know on what terms the girl is to be here. Is she to have any wages? And what's to become of her when you've finished your teaching? You must look ahead a little.
What's to become of her if I leave her in the gutter? Tell me that, Mrs. Pierce.
That's her own business, not yours, Mr. Higgins.
Well, when I've done with her, we can throw her back into the gutter, and then it will be her own business again. So that's all right.
Oh, you've no feeling in your heart. You don't care for nothing but yourself. Here, I've had enough of this. I'm going. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you ought.
Have some chocolates, Eliza.
Hey, how do I know what might be in them? I've heard of girls being drugged by the likes of you.
Pledge of good faith, Eliza. I eat one half. You eat the other. You shall have boxes and barrels of them every day. You shall live on them, eh?
Well, I wouldn't have ate it. Only I'm too ladylike to take it out of my mouth.
Listen, Eliza, I think you said you came in a taxi.
Well, what if I did? I'm as good as a right to take a taxi as anybody else.
You have, Eliza, and in future you shall have as many taxis as you want. You shall go up and down and round the town in a taxi every day. Think of that, Eliza.
Mr. Higgins, you're tempting the girl. It's not right. She should think of the future.
At her age, nonsense. Time enough to think of the future when you haven't any future to think of. No, Eliza, do as this lady does. Think of other people's futures, but never think of your own. Think of chocolates and taxis and gold and diamonds.
No, I don't want no gold and no diamonds. I'm a good girl, I am.
And you shall remain so, Eliza, under the care of Mrs. Pierce. And you shall marry an officer in the guards with a beautiful moustache, the son of a marquis, who will disinherit him for marrying you, but will relent when he sees your beauty and your goodness.
Excuse me, Higgins, but I really must interfere. Mrs. Pierce is quite right. If this girl is to put herself in your hands for 6 months for an experiment in teaching, she must understand thoroughly what she is doing.
Well, how can she? She's incapable of understanding anything. Besides, do any of us understand what we are doing? If we did, would we ever do it?
Very clever, Higgins, but not sound sense. Miss Doolittle...
There, that's all you'll get out of Eliza. Ow! No news explaining. As a military man, you ought to know that. Give her her orders. That's what she wants. Eliza, you are to live here for the next 6 months, learning how to speak beautifully, like a lady in a florist's shop. If you're good and do whatever you're told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom and have lots to eat and money to buy chocolates and take rides in taxis. If you're naughty and idle, you will sleep in the back kitchen amongst the black beetles and be walloped by Mrs. Pierce with a broomstick. At the end of 6 months, you shall go to Buckingham Palace in a carriage beautifully dressed. If the king finds out you're not a lady, you will be taken by the police to the Tower of London, where your head will be cut off as a warning to other presumptuous flower girls. If you are not found out, you shall have a present of 7 and 6pence to start your life with as a lady in a shop. If you refuse this offer, you will be the most ungrateful and wicked girl, and the angels will weep for you. Now are you satisfied, Pickering? Can I put it more plainly and fairly, Mrs. Pierce?
I think you'd better let me speak to the girl properly in private. I don't know but that I can take charge of her or consent to the arrangement at all. Of course, I know you don't mean any harm, but when you get what you called interested in a person's accent, you never think or care what may happen to them or to you. Come along, Eliza.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you, Mrs. Pierce. Bundle her off to the bathroom.
You're a great bully, you are. I won't stay if I don't like. I won't let nobody wallop me. I never asked to go to Buckingham Palace. I didn't. I was never in trouble with the police. Not me. I'm a good girl. I am.
Don't answer back, girl. You don't understand the gentleman. Come with me.
Well, what I say is right. I won't go near the king, not if I'm going to have my head cut off. If I'd known I was letting myself in for, I wouldn't have come here. I always been a good girl, and I never offered to say a word to him. And I don't owe him nothing, and I don't care, and I will be put upon, and I have my feelings the same as anybody else.
Excuse the straight question, Higgins. Are you a man of good character where women are concerned?
Have you ever met a man of good character where women are concerned?
Well, yes, frequently.
Well, I haven't. I find that the moment I let a woman make friends with me, she becomes jealous, exacting, suspicious, and a damned nuisance. I find that the moment I let myself become friends with a woman, I become selfish and tyrannical. Women upset everything. When you let them into your life, you find that the woman is driving at one thing and you're driving at another.
At what, for example?
Oh, Lord knows. I suppose the woman wants to live her own life and the man wants to live his, and each tries to drag the other down the wrong track. One wants to go north and the other south, and the result is they both have to go east, though both of them hate the east wind. So here I am, a confirmed old bachelor, and likely to remain so.
Come, Higgins, you know what I mean. If I'm to be in this business, I shall feel responsible for that girl. I hope it's understood that no advantage is to be taken of her position.
What? That thing? Sacred, I assure you. You see, she's a pupil, and teaching would be impossible unless pupils were sacred. I've taught scores of American millionairesses how to speak English. The best-looking women in the world. I'm seasoned. They may as well be blocks of wood. I may as well be a block of wood. It's... Oh, well, Mrs. Pierce, is it all right?
I just wish to trouble you with a word, if I may, Mr. Higgins.
Yes, certainly, come in. Oh, don't burn that, Mrs. Pierce. I'll keep it as a curiosity.
Handle it carefully, please, sir. I had to promise her not to burn it, but I'd better put it in the oven for a while.
Oh, thank you. Well, what have you to say to me?
Am I in the way?
Oh, not at all, sir. Mr. Higgins, will you please be very particular what you say before the girl?
Oh, of course, I'm always particular about what I say. Why do you say this to me?
No, sir, you're not at all particular when you're mislaid anything or when you get a little impatient. Now, it doesn't matter to me, I'm used to it, but you really must not swear before the girl.
I swear I never swear. I detest the habit. What the devil do you mean?
That's what I mean, sir. You swear a great deal too much. I don't mind your damning and blasting and what the devil and where the devil and who the devil is.
Really, Mrs. Pierce, this language from your lips.
Yes, but there is a certain word I must ask you to not use. The girl has just used it herself because the bath was too hot. It begins with the same letter as bath. She knows no better. She learned it at her mother's knee. But she must not hear it from your lips.
I cannot charge myself with ever having uttered it, Mrs. Pierce, except perhaps in a moment of extreme and justifiable excitement.
Only this morning, sir, you applied it to your books, to your boots, to the butter, and to the brown bread.
Oh, that mere alliteration, Mrs. Pierce, natural of a poet.
Well, sir, whatever you choose to call it, I beg you to not let the girl hear you repeat it.
Oh, very well, very well. Is that all?
No, sir. We shall have to be very particular with this girl as to personal cleanliness.
Certainly. Quite right. Most important.
I mean, not to be slovenly about her dress or untidy and leaving things about.
Just so. I intended to call your attention to that. It is these little things that matter, Pickering. Take care of the pence and the pounds will take care of themselves is as true for personal habits as of money.
Yes, sir. Then might I ask you not to come down to breakfast in your dressing gown? Or at any rate, not to use it as a napkin to the extent you do, sir. And if you would please be so good as to not eat everything off the same plate, and to remember not to put the porridge saucepan out of your hand on the clean tablecloth. It would be a better example to the girl. You know, you nearly choked yourself with a fishbone in the jam only last week.
I may do these things, sometimes in absence of mind, but I surely don't do them habitually. By the way, my dressing gown smells most damnably of benzene.
No doubt it does, sir. But if you will wipe your fingers...
Oh, very well, very well. I'll wipe them in my hair in future.
Oh, I hope I've not offended Mr. Higgins.
Not at all, not at all. You're quite right, Mrs. Pierce. I shall be particularly careful before the girl. Is that all?
No, sir. Might she use some of those Japanese dresses you brought from abroad? I really can't put her back in her old things.
Certainly, anything you like. Is that all?
Thank you, sir. That's all.
You know, Pickering, that woman has the most extraordinary ideas about me. Here I am, a shy, diffident sort of man. I've never really felt grown up or tremendous like other chaps, and yet she's firmly persuaded that I'm an arbitrary, overbearing, bossing kind of person. I can't account for it.
If you please, sir, the trouble's beginning already. There's a dustman downstairs, Alfred Doolittle, wants to see ya. He says you have his daughter here.
I say.
Send the blackguard up.
Oh, very well, sir.
He may not be a blackguard, Higgins.
Nonsense, of course he's a blackguard.
Well, whether he is or not, I'm afraid we shall have some trouble with him.
Oh no, I think not. If there's any trouble, he shall have it with me, not I with him. And we are sure to get something interesting out of him.
About the girl?
No, I mean his dialect.
Oh.
Doolittle, sir.
Professor Higgins?
Here. Good morning. Sit down.
Morning, Governor. I come about a very serious matter, Governor.
Brought up in Hounslow, Mother Welsh, I should think. What do you want, Doolittle?
I want me daughter. That's what I want, see?
Of course you do. You're her father, aren't you? You don't suppose anyone else wants her, do you? I'm glad to see some spark of family feeling left. She's upstairs. Take her away at once.
What?
Take her away. Do you suppose I'm going to keep your daughter for you?
Now, look here, Governor. I mean, is this reasonable? Is it fair to take advantage of a man like this? The girl belongs to me. You got her. Where do I come in?
Your daughter had the audacity to come to my house and ask me to teach her how to speak properly so that she could get a job in a flower shop. This gentleman and my housekeeper have been here the entire time. How dare you come here and attempt to blackmail me? You sent her here on purpose.
No, Governor.
You must have. How else would you know that she was here?
No, don't take a man up like that, Governor.
The police shall take you up on it. This is a plant to extort money by threats. I shall telephone the police.
Now, have I asked you for a brass farthing? I leave it to this gentleman here. Have I said a word about money?
What else did you come for?
Well, what would a man come for? Oh, being human, Governor.
Alfred, did you put her up to it?
So help me, Governor, I never did. I take me Bible oath. I ain't seen the girl these past months.
Then
These last two.
How did you know she was here?
I'll tell you, Governor, if you'll only let me get a word in. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you.
Pickering, this chap has the certain natural gift of rhetoric. Observe the rhythm of his native wood notes wild. I'm willing to tell you.
Well, it was like this, Governor. The girl took a boy in a taxi to give him a jaunt. Son of a landlady, he is. He hung about on the chance of her giving him another ride home. Well, she sent him back for her luggage when she heard you was willing to take her in to stop here. Well, I met the boy at the corner of Longacre and Endell Street.
Public house, yes?
The poor man's house, Governor. Why shouldn't I?
You let him tell his story, Higgins.
Well, he told me what was up. And I ask you, what was my feelings and my duty as a father? Now, I says to the boy, you bring me the luggage. I says, you
Why
bring
didn't
it right.
you go for it yourself?
Landlady wouldn't have trusted me with it, Governor. She's that kind of woman, you know. I had to give the boy a penny beforehand. He trusted me with it, that little swine. I brought it down just to oblige you, Governor, and make myself agreeable, that's all.
How much luggage?
Musical instrument, Governor. A few pictures, a trifle of jewelry, and a bird cage. She said she didn't want no clothes. Now, what was I to think about that, Governor? I ask you as a parent, what was I to think?
So you came to rescue her from worse than death, eh?
Just so, Governor, that's right.
But why did you bring her luggage if you intended to take her away?
Have I said a word about taking her away? Have I now?
You're going to take her away double quick.
No, Governor, don't say that. I'm not the kind of man that stands in my girl's light. I mean, here's a career opening for her, as you might say. And I
Mrs. Pierce, this is Eliza's father. He has come to take her away. Give her to him.
No. This is a misunderstanding. Now listen here.
He can't take her away, Mr. Higgins. How can he? You told me to burn her clothes.
That's right. I can't carry the girl through the streets like a bloomin' monkey, can I? No, I put it to you.
You have put it to me that you want your daughter. Take your daughter. If she has no clothes, go out and buy her some.
Where's the clothes she come in? Did I burn them or did your missus over here?
I'm the housekeeper, if you please. I have sent for some clothes for your girl. When they come, you can take her away. You can wait in the kitchen. This way, please.
Now, listen here, Governor. You and me is men of the world, ain't we?
Oh, men of the world, are we? Well, you'd better go, Mrs. Pierce.
I think so indeed, sir.
The floor is yours, Mr. Doolittle.
Thank you, Governor. Well, the truth is, I've sort of taken a fancy to you, Governor. And, well, if you want the girl, I'm not so set on having her back home again. But what I might be open to is an arrangement. I mean, regarded in the light of a young woman, she's a fine, handsome girl. Now, as a daughter, she's not worth a keep. And so I tell you straight, all I ask is my rights as a father. And you're the last man alive that I would expect to let her go for nothing. But I can see that you're one of the straight sort, Governor. Well, what's a £5 note to you? And what's Eliza to me?
I think you ought to know, Doolittle, that Mr. Higgins' intentions are entirely honorable.
Of course they are, Governor. If I thought they wasn't, I'd ask 50.
You mean to say, you callous rascal, that you would sell your daughter for £50?
No, not in a general way, I wouldn't. But to oblige a gentleman like you, I'd do a good deal, I assure you.
You know morals, man.
Can't afford them, Governor. Neither could you if you was as poor as me. Well, not that I mean any harm, you know. But if Eliza's going to have a bit out of this, why not me too?
I don't know what to do, Pickering. There can be no question that, as a matter of morals, it's a positive crime to give this chap a farthing. And yet I feel a sort of rough justice in his claim.
That's it, Governor. That's all I say. A father's art, as it were.
Well, I know the feeling, but really it hardly seems right.
No, don't say that, Governor. Don't look at it that way. I mean, what am I, Governors both? I ask you, am I? I'm one of the undeserving poor, that's what I am. Think of what that means to a man. It means that he's up against the middle-class morality all the time. And if there's anything going on and I put in for a bit of it, it's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can't have it. But my needs is as great as the next one. As the most deserving widows that ever's got money out of 6 different charities in 1 week to the death of the same husband. I don't need less than a deserving man. I need more. I don't eat less than him, and I drink a lot more. I want a bit of amusement because I'm a thinking man. I want cheerfulness and a song and a band when I feel low. Well, they charge me the same as everything that they charge the deserving. What is middle-class morality? Just an excuse for not giving me anything. Therefore, I ask you, as 2 gentlemen, not to play that game on me. I'm playing straight with you. I ain't pretending to be deserving. I'm undeserving. And I mean to go on being undeserving. I like it. And that's the truth. You take advantage of a man's nature to do him out of the price of his own daughter, what he's brought up and fed and clothed by the sweat of his brow until she's grown big enough to be interesting to you 2 gentlemen. I mean, it's £5 unreasonable. I put it to you, and I leave it to you.
Pickering, if we were to take this man in hand for 3 months, he could choose between a seat in the cabinet and a powerful pulpit in Wales.
What do you say to that, Doolittle?
Not me, Governor, thank you kindly. Oh, I've had all the preachers and all the prime minister, for I'm a thinking man. And I'm game for politics or religion or social reform, same as all the other amusements. And I tell you, it's a dog's life, any way you look at it. Undeserving poverty is my line. Taking one station in society with another. It's the only one that has any ginger in it, to my taste.
I suppose we must give him a fiver.
He'll make bad use of it, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, not me, Governor, so help me. I won't. Don't you be afraid that I'll save it and spare and live idle on it. There won't be a penny of it left by Monday. I'll have to go to work same as if I'd never had it. It won't pauperize me, you bet. Just one good spree for myself and the missus, giving pleasure to ourselves and employment to others. Oh, and satisfaction to you to think it's not been thrown away. You couldn't spend it better.
This is irresistible. Let's give him 10.
No, Governor. She wouldn't have the heart to spend 10. And, well, perhaps I shouldn't either. £10 is a lot of money. Makes a man feel prudent-like. And then, goodbye to happiness. You give me what I asked for, Governor. Not a penny more, not a penny less.
Why don't you marry that missus of yours? I rather draw the line at encouraging that sort of immorality.
You tell her so, Governor, tell her so. I'm willing. It's me that suffers by it. I've no hold on her. Oh, I got to be agreeable to her. Oh, I got to give her presents. I got to buy her clothes, something sinful. I'm a slave to that woman, Governor, just because I ain't a lawful husband. And she knows it too. Catch her marrying me. Take my advice, Governor. Marry Eliza while she's young and don't know no better. If you don't, you'll be sorry for it after. If you do, she'll be sorry for it after. But better you than her, because you're a man and she's only a woman who don't know how to be happy anyway.
Pickering, if we listen to this man another minute, we shall have no convictions left. £5, I think you said.
Thank you kindly, Governor.
You're sure you won't take 10?
Oh, not now. Another time, Governor.
Well, here you are.
Oh, thank you, Governor. Good morning.
Don't you know your own daughter?
Blimey, it's
By
Eliza.
Jove!
Don't I look silly?
Silly.
Now, Mr. Higgins, please don't say anything to make the girl conceited about herself.
Oh, quite right, Mrs. Pierce. Yes, damn silly.
Why?
Please, sir.
I mean extremely silly.
I shall look all right with my hat on.
A new fashion, by George, and it ought to look horrible.
Well, I never thought she'd clean up as good looking as that, Governor. Oh, she's a credit to me, ain't she?
I tell you, it's easy to clean up here. Hot and cold water on tap, just as much as you like there is. Woolly towels there is, and a towel horse so hot, it burns your fingers. Soft brushes to scrub yourself with, and a wooden bowl of soap smelling like primroses. Now I know why ladies is always so clean. Washing's a treat for them. I wish they could see what it's like for the likes of me.
I'm glad the bathroom met with your approval.
Oh, it didn't. Not all of it. And I don't care who is me say it. Mrs. Pierce knows.
What was wrong, Mrs. Pierce?
Nothing, sir. It doesn't matter.
I had a good mind to break it. I didn't know which way to look. But I hung a towel over it, I did.
Over what?
Over the looking glass, sir.
Doolittle, you have brought your daughter up too strictly.
Me? I never brought her up at all, except to give her a lick of the strap now and again. Yeah, don't put it on me, Governor. She ain't accustomed to it, you see, that's all. But she'll soon pick up on your free and easy ways.
I'm a good girl, I am, and I won't pick up on no free and easy ways.
Eliza, if you say again that you're a good girl, your father shall take you home.
Oh, not him. You don't know my father. All he come here for was to touch you for some money to get drunk on.
Well, what else would I want money for? To put into the plated church, I suppose. Now, don't you give me none of your lip, and don't you let me hear you giving this gentleman any of it neither, or you'll hear from it about me, you see?
Have you any further advice to give her before you go, Doolittle? Your blessing, for instance?
No, Governor. I ain't such a mug as to put up my children to all I know myself. Hard enough to hold them in without that. If you want Eliza's mind improved, Governor, you do it yourself with a strap. So long, gentlemen.
Stop. You'll come regularly to see your daughter. It's your duty, you know. My brother is a clergyman, and he could help you in your talks with her.
Certainly I will come, Governor. Not just this week, because I have a job at a distance. But later on, you may depend on me. Afternoon, gentlemen. Ma'am.
Don't you believe the old liar? You'd as soon you set a bulldog on him as a clergyman. You won't see him again in a hurry.
I don't want to, Eliza, do you?
Not me. I don't want never to see him again, I don't. He's a disgrace to me, he is, collecting dust instead of working at his trade.
What is his trade, Eliza?
Talking money out of other people's pockets into his own. His proper trade's a navvy. And he works at it sometimes too, for exercise, and earns good money at it. Aren't you going to call me Miss Doolittle anymore?
Oh, I beg your pardon, Miss Doolittle. It was a slip of the tongue.
Oh, I don't mind. Only it sounded so genteel. I should just like to take a taxi to the corner of Tottenham Court Road and get out there and tell it to wait for me. Just to put the girls in their place a little bit. I wouldn't speak to them, you know.
Better wait until we get you something really fashionable.
Besides, you shouldn't cut your old friends now that you have risen in the world. That's what we call snobbery.
Well, you don't call the like of them my friends now, I should hope. They've took it out of me often enough with their ridicule when they have the chance. And now I mean to get a bit of my own back. But if I'm to have fashionable clothes, I'll wait. I should like to have some. Mrs. Pierce says you're going to give me some to wear in bed at night. It's different to what I wear in the daytime. But it does seem a waste of money when you could get something to show, right? Besides, I never could fancy changing into cold things on a winter's night.
Now, Eliza, the new things have come for you to try on.
Wow!
Oh, don't rush about like that, girl.
Pickering, we have taken on a stiff job.
Higgins, we have.